Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained. I am DM Bloodworth, and today is day 23 of the hashtag RPG a Day 2018 series of videos. And today's prompt is, which game do you hope to play again? It didn't take me very long to think about it, and the game that I would hope to play again is Twilight 2000. So I have it here. I have the PDF of the game. Um, it was a game that was released in 1984 and by Game Design Workshop, and it was one of my favorite games that I played. Back in that time period, back in the early to mid 80s. Just to put it into some personal context, I come from a military family. My father was a World War II veteran. I was about 17 at the time of this, and I was always into, I was into a lot of things that, I guess young guys were into, so I was into, war movies, and I was into, one of my favorite TV shows was Combat and, Desert Rats and things like that. So I was, Hogan's Heroes. I was into kind of a military theme of, my viewing, and so when this game came out, and I picked it up, one of the first things I really gravitated to, and I played this game as a player, so not as a GM. So that might be another reason why I'd really like to go back to this game as well, to continue playing as a player. But the authenticity of this game is what really makes it stand out. I mean, that it creates an atmosphere that's very similar to like Call of Cthulhu's atmosphere that it creates for the horror genre. This really captures the feeling of being in a small squad, in a very tough combat situation, where you have to scavenge, you have to, your team has to have the right mix of skill sets, so the right MOSs kind of working together, and you're just the sense and the pacing of the game. You just seemed like you always had to rely on each other, and you were constantly on the move and constantly trying to achieve your objectives. And the game really did exemplify what I was looking for in gaming. Now, probably the last time I played this game was 1987 or 88, and by 1990 I had gone into the army, and I don't know if it was a direct, I won't say it was a direct connection, to me deciding to join the army, but certainly my father being a veteran, that was, probably the most influential part for me. And but this game certainly did have something to do with my decision making process. Was that I just like the idea of that small squad working together, and achieving achieving common goals and stuff. And it was very much the experience that I did have in the military as well. Although, on a much broader scale, obviously. And, and it wasn't a game, but it was certainly, you know, had its, very highs, and luckily enough, not too many lows. So, so this is definitely a game that I would really like to get back into it again. I know at least one other fellow YouTuber, the Fat GM, who really puts together some, awesome videos on this game. And I know that if he ever runs this game, I certainly would want to join his group there and play along with him. I don't need any other games to GM, so I'd certainly like to play Twilight 2000 as a player once again. So as far as the prompt goes, that's really the standout game for me to go back to playing again. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. If you have any comments that you'd like to leave, very welcome for comments. I try to respond to every comment that I get. And if you have a YouTube channel that you'd like to like to have me take a look at, you can just put it in the comments as well. One thing I always do is when people come to my channel and they either comment or they subscribe, I show some reciprocity and I subscribe back, with them and leave comments with them as well. So I think a lot of us, small time YouTubers, kind of need to keep on networking with each other and building up, building each other's channels up, so that we all get a little bit more visibility. Share the video if that's great too. So any time that we can all assist each other in getting that visibility out there is certainly a benefit, I think, to everybody. So it gets right back to the teamwork theme. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and the upcoming weekend. I look forward to seeing you on the playing screen sometime very soon. Have a good night.